Hello, and thank you for joining today's webcast. We welcome you to our training network, and we want to make sure that at BLI you are equipped with everything you need to know to have a fantastic, successful training, and that you know very clearly how we work and the processes that we have in order to have a successful training. So let's get started. Just a little bit of a background. Balancing Life's Issues started back in 1998 by our founder and CEO, Wendy Wallner. If you want some additional background, there is a great video on our website that provides a really great history of Wendy's journey and her mission. So we have 300 different trainings in our catalog, and we are constantly developing content to stay current with today's trends and hot topics. So we have trainings in the area of family, work, health and wellness, legal, and financial. So it's not just important for you to understand, have the credentials and the subject matter expertise. We want you to impart your knowledge in a way that the audience connects with you and the topic. So it's very important for our company that you are doing trainings in your area of expertise. So please do not take on, topics or requests that fall outside of your wheelhouse. So how do we carry out our mission and have a positive impact on the individuals that are attending our trainings? We need trainers to be engaging, inspiring, and we want to ensure that the participants leave with an action plan to work towards that positive change. So many of our contracts are with EAPs. Not all of them, probably about 80% of them. So whether they're standalone EAPs or they're associated with health insurance companies, it's really important for you to know and be familiar with what an EAP is and the services they provide. Because when you go out and do that training, you are not doing it on behalf of Balancing Life's Issues. You are doing it on behalf of that EAP. So EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. They are services that are paid for by the company and offered to the employees. The purpose is to help them manage some personal problems that they may have that could potentially be impacting their workplace performance. So it's important to know that they provide things like counseling sessions, resources and referrals for anything you can think of, whether it be child care, elder care, legal, financial, convenient services. So if you're even looking for pet care or someone to help you plan a vacation, all of these services are available through the EAP at no cost to the employee. So it's really important when you are at a training and when appropriate to remind the employees that these services are available to them and kind of incorporate it into the training as appropriate. Also important, if there is a question that you do not know how to answer related to the EAP, do not try and guess. Please just refer that employee back to the EAP. You will have in your PowerPoint presentation the toll-free number for them to contact. It's so much better for them to go directly to the EAP to get the correct answer than for us to guess and potentially be wrong. Also, the site contact, if they want to schedule more trainings or they have questions, please always just refer them back to their EAP account manager. So it's also extremely important. We have about 14,000 trainings every year. We have a network of 1,600 trainers across the United States and now even globally, and we touch about 1.9 million people a year. So we are extremely busy. So we ask that it's your responsibility to note who staffed you for any particular session. So each account manager at BLI has their own book of business. And every provider has, their own little way of doing something. So with all of these trainings that we have going on, it is best if you want to get an answer to a question regarding a particular provider, a particular client, a particular session, that you go to the account manager who staffed you for that particular session. So just to give you a little process in terms of how everything works. So we call it a script, but what it is when a request comes into BLI from one of our providers, like an EAP, or we also have direct clients, we have a database and we're able to send emails out with the logistics, date, time, location, all of that information that you need. We ask that you look at that script, that you commit only if you're available and qualified for that particular topic. The date and time of that, it's not flexible. So if you are not available, do not respond. We have a one-strike policy. If you are going to take on a training, if you decide you want to go shopping that day or go to a movie instead, that is not acceptable. So please note that, date and time is firm. So once you get that script and you are available and qualified, please respond back to the email letting them know that you're interested and available for the training. If you are not qualified and you are not available and you are not interested, just delete the email. So that's pretty much how you go about getting the information on the requests that come in for us. It's also important, all of our providers pay us different rates. So not every training are you going to be paid the same rate. So make sure that the rate is agreed upon before you confirm the session, and make sure that rate is agreed upon in writing. It's extremely important that everybody is on the same page with those rates. Most of our providers do not pay travel or travel time. So don't put that when you're invoicing unless that's been agreed upon ahead of time, because you will not get paid if the agreed upon rate in our system does not match your invoice. So it's just an important piece in terms of getting reimbursed for the trainings that you've provided. So we work with, I think, well over 55 clients at this point. And I mentioned before that we touch about 1.9 people every year. So many of the clients are Fortune 500 companies, and they expect, as well as deserve, high caliber trainers who do not compromise when it comes to professionalism. Part of being professional is also knowing that, there's going to be hiccups here and there, some unplanned changes, whatever might happen, and that you can kind of go with the flow and you're able to adjust accordingly. Confirmations. This is something that is extremely important to us here at Balancing Life's Issues. What happens is, starting 14 days prior to the training, you will receive automated emails that remind you of your session, gives you everything you need to know. Again, the date, the time, the location, the topic, the ID number, so you can invoice. So please take note of the invoice number. These confirmations, like I said, they start at 14 days. We also have automated emails that come out on the 7th day, and I believe it's the 3 days part. Actually, no, it's 14, 10, and 7, I believe. So, sorry about that. But those confirmation emails also include a link. It is very important that you use this link to confirm, meaning that you have all your materials, you've been in contact with the point of contact for the client. So there would be a button to confirm. There's also a button if you need to request your materials, and a button if you need site contact information. What that does is that automatically updates our database with the information, and it sends an email to that account manager, so they are aware that you need materials. They are aware that you have not been in contact with the site contact, or they're aware that you're good to go, and once you click confirm in that link, you will receive no further automated emails. So it's also important that you want to confirm all of the pertinent information regarding your training with the site contact. So you want to call them 1 to 2 weeks prior to the scheduled training, introduce yourself, get any special instructions, ask, why they decided to have this training. Is there any information that you need to know to make that training more successful and relevant to the attendees? So some trainer to-dos. Be prepared for your session. Please have reviewed your materials. You've rehearsed it. Know what kind of interaction you're going to have with the attendees. If there's any, interactive, like games or things that you want to do, activities, I should say. Always arrive 30 minutes prior to the start of your session. This ensures that you're, you know where the room is, you're familiar with the room, technology is working, you can take a bio break if you need to. Business attire. Please, please always arrive in business attire. When you reach out to the site contact, get familiar with the client, with their culture, who you're going to be speaking with, be familiar with the room, and please always have a backup laptop and PowerPoint presentation with you. This is always, again, very good because we all know technology sometimes fails us, and we want to make sure that despite that, we can still have a successful training. So some things that our trainer don't. Please do not be judgmental. We are not here to judge. We are here to impart our knowledge, inspire, and engage the attendees. Don't be unprofessional. Please make sure your telephones are off. Don't be text messaging during a training, eat during a training, arrive late. These are some of the things that are extremely, extremely important for our brand, because remember, you are providing these services on behalf of the EAP. So it's very important that you present yourself in a professional way. Again, don't be unprepared. Make sure that you know the content, that you've rehearsed it, and again, that you know what activities you're going to use to try and engage and inspire the audience. Very, very important. Again, I don't want to stress this enough. You are there on behalf of the EAP or the client. So you cannot promote your personal services. You can't hand out business cards. You can't sell anything. This is a hard and fast rule. It is outlined in the service agreement that you signed, and we just want to make sure that this is a deal breaker for us. So please, please know that you cannot promote anything except the EAP services. So how do we have a successful training? Obviously, like we said, be prepared and know your topic. Engage the audience and be interactive. Stories are a really great way to incorporate and make the session really become alive and real for the attendees. So if there's a major point in the presentation, see if you can tell a story to make it come alive. Be cheerful and energetic. Very important. Presentations, as we know, our PowerPoints aren't the best, but we want our trainers to be the best. So PowerPoints are really a guideline for you to follow, but please, please do not read bullet point by bullet point. Everybody knows how to read. That does not make an energetic and engaging session in any way. So again, be cheerful and energetic. Don't be boring and monotone. That's not an engaging way to grab the attention of the attendee and make them really feel inspired to change for the positive. All right, the all-important reimbursement. So in order to be reimbursed for your session, BLI needs to have on file an up-to-date W-9, a signed authorization for direct deposit. All of our payments are done online and through direct deposit. So our payment is net 30 days, and that's from the date you submit your invoice, not the date of your training. So we do encourage you to submit your invoice within 24 hours of the session. We pay direct deposit every single Thursday. So depending on when you submit it, you might miss that Thursday date. You will be then reimbursed the following Thursday. Make sure that when you collect your evaluations that those are forwarded to the account manager. We need to share those with the provider, and the provider likes to share those with the client. And it's important. I know I mentioned this before. If you submit a rate that does not match what is listed on the agreed upon rate in our database, please don't submit the invoice. Contact the account manager and make sure that you have it in writing, the agreed upon rate. This way, this won't delay any payments. So I hope you found this information helpful. We thank you. We welcome you to our Trainers Network, and we look forward to having a successful partnership. Thank you so much.